Growing up, I didn't know how unusual my family dynamic was. I thought everyone's mom spent most of her days on the couch, scrolling through her phone or watching endless reality TV marathons. My mom, with her perfect nails and never a hair out of place, gave new meaning to stay-at-home mom, except she didn't really do the mom part much, or even the stay-at-home part. She spent more time online or at the nail salon than I think any mom ever should. My dad, on the other hand, was the polar opposite. He worked long hours at a demanding tech job downtown. He'd leave before dawn, come home at sundown, tired yet always ready to jump into household chores and activities with me and my sister. But no matter what he did, it was never enough for my mom. The second he walked through the door, she would start in on him about what he'd done wrong, from leaving the sink dripping to not folding the laundry exactly as she liked. I remember one time in particular, Dad had managed to rush home early and cook a simple dinner. Spaghetti, nothing fancy. But Mom walked into the kitchen, took one look at the mess of pots and sauce-stained counters, and erupted. "Why can't you do one thing right?" she snapped, arms crossed, her tone sharper than usual. Dad looked exhausted, spaghetti sauce still splattered on his shirt. But instead of defending himself, he just cleaned up the entire kitchen while Mom sat down at the table, scrolling through her phone as if she hadn't just stormed in. As I got older, I started to notice more of these moments. There were mornings when Dad would be ironing clothes, packing my lunch, and still racing out the door with a coffee cup in one hand and a car key in the other. Meanwhile, Mom would be busy posting photos on Instagram or chatting with her friends about her latest shopping finds. And when the occasional visitor or family friend would comment on how lucky she was to have such a hard-working husband, she would just shrug and say, "Well, that's his job. A real man takes care of his family." One Saturday, things came to a head. Dad had been out mowing the lawn, trimming hedges, and fixing a leaky pipe. When he finally came inside, visibly worn out, he sat down to catch his breath. Mom marched into the living room, a frown on her face. "You missed a spot on the front lawn," she scolded, pointing out the window. "And by the way, the dryer's making a noise. Did you even check it?" Dad's face was unreadable, but I noticed the way his hands clenched. I thought he would argue back, maybe finally tell her how he felt, but instead, he just nodded, grabbed a towel to wipe the sweat off his face, and went back outside without a word. It broke something inside of me to see him so quiet, so accepting. The lawn, the dryer, the spaghetti, all of it. It was like he'd given up on expecting things to ever change. It hit me hard that day, realizing that my dad was the glue holding us all together, while Mom was, well, somewhere else entirely. Part of me wanted to say something, to tell him it wasn't fair, but I didn't, because I didn't want to hurt him more. Dad's silence felt heavy, like a weight too big to move. Maybe, I thought, some people are just too tired to keep hoping for change.